Hi, I'm Emily with the pod here, and I'm going to be showing you my homeschool journal and planner, and hopefully it will bless you and help you in your planning of the new school year. Hey mamas, I just got my little ones all in bed. I have all my ducks in a row tonight, of course. You don't believe me, do you? But I'm going to be sharing with you my homeschool planner and journal. I've got my tea, so let's get started. Alright, so this is my journal planner, and it's a 7 by 10 inch. It's by Exceed, and I'll put a link in the description below where you can find it. So let's get started. All right, we've got a basic index here, as all good journals should have, and then my homeschool creed. I actually had something gross spill on this, and instead of just ripping out the page and trying to tape something in, I decided to make the best of it and went ahead and just turned all the spots into bubbles and added a few more besides so that it looked like it was intentional, and kind of pieced together where it had damaged the writing. But this is my homeschool creed, where I have things really long term, thinking the entirety of all of my homeschool, of what I want my kids to walk away with, not just educationally. Actually, there's almost nothing to do with education on here. It is really more about their character development. So things like being a worldview warrior and understanding the world through their beliefs, and seeking truth, and learning to love to learn, as you'll hear a lot in our With the Pod stuff here. So I've got some extra pages here to work on. I am working on, this is kind of a rough draft page where I'm deciding if I want to loop this year or not to loop. See, it says to loop or not to loop, that is the question. So I'm trying to decide how many days a week we're doing what subjects, and honestly, you can't really decide that until you're a couple weeks in, maybe even a month or two. So figuring that out here. The same with this one. This is how we do it. Kind of what is going to fit on what days, what are Mondays going to kind of look like. I would like to start with a music lesson on Monday, and on Friday I'd like to be able to check in all the boxes of the things that we actually did, and have my girls help me with that as well, and filling out their own journals and boxes as well. This is just kind of a write-up of a bare basic day. This is for when we've been maybe sick or something, and we just need to get some basics done, the reading, writing, and arithmetic. And this is just kind of a little outline to help me understand where I'm going with them that day, when we just can't do it all, but we still need to stay focused. So, okay, so this is my homeschool tree. Once I realized that homeschooling wasn't linear, that it was like a tree. It's rooted. Down here I have the roots. See with my little hedgehog, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little hedgehog down there in the roots. It's rooted in Bible and prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance, and we usually spend about 5 minutes or 10 minutes of singing, and then a little break for chores, and then on to our morning loop. This was last year's. I'm not sure if I'm sticking with loops this year or not. But anyway, it's the same concept whether you have a list of things that you're doing or you're doing looping. So from looping, we go up into all the different subjects. We branch out into language arts and math and all the different study areas and the extra things. So I think that school is more like a tree than just a line or a list, and that works for me. If you check in the description below, I'll have a link where you can get a free tree that's blank that you can fill in and see if that works for you. After my tree here, I've got an area for quotes. This was last year's quotes, and I love them, and I'm really considering just putting them in this book. But I also want to be on the lookout this year for quotes that really speak to my mommy heart, my homeschool heart, and put them there. This is my thankful page, so I'm just kind of weaving in things here that I'm particularly thankful for this year as it goes along. Now these are the progress and achievements for my girls, and just kind of by month here put in what they've accomplished. So Jocelyn lost a tooth, in August. And so this area of the circle is kind of for just kind of the milestones and stuff, and up here is more for notes that kind of span over time. So if you are interested in making circles, I have a whole circle tutorial, and it's in the videos that I've already made. So then I love this. Every year I do trace around their hand and ask them what their favorite things are this year, and that's been really fun. And look, there's a little third hand. She's not even one yet, but look at her, she's already started. And she has a little wheel as well, a little baby wheel. This is for success and fails. So success here is not the same as it is back here in the in these progress and achievements. This is success like buying a new printer that actually works, or having things organized in certain areas, and kind of writing where I kind of hit the nail on the head. And fails, of course, things that didn't work. Look at me, I have no fails yet. It's probably because I have failed to put them down. So a project area, so we can date it and get it going, steps on how to get the project completed. This is specifically for the girls. I have an area that is just for projects for me, things that I'm working on, and that's later on. So a place to drop ideas, a place for needs and wants specifically pertaining to school. So this is my G goals and my J goals, which makes me laugh. And so the goal and how to achieve it and when it's accomplished. And sometimes some of the oldest ones' goals trickle over into the middle girls' goals here. All right, so life skills. This was last year's life skills. I just put things like they can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or they help dad change a tire, or just general life skills that you don't find in a book but kids need to know, and just kind of where those end up this year. And this page here is for Bible. I'll show you last year's, how it was completed. So I included if they were little sheep in a little church play, and what books we were using that pertain to our Bible study. I don't have a specific curriculum that we use. It is kind of woven throughout literature and history and science. So that is where Bible ends up. Will end up here in this journal. Books that matter and movies that matter. So this isn't just any old movie. It does need to be a movie that is specifically we watched for school. And my field trip circle, we haven't gone on any field trips yet, but when we do, they're ending up right here. Next up, we've got language arts. So I'm going to be recording the books that we're using for language arts here that contribute to that. I'm getting the Shirley grammar method this year. That's really new for us, and though it hasn't been ordered yet, all of the chapters are here because they were online and I could figure out kind of where things go. As I look at the material, I'll be able to write in this area along here the month kind of that they're ending up in. These chapters are ending up in. And then cursive, we are trying to master cursive this year. So I have a tracker of when they've mastered the lowercase and uppercase, and when they can read and write it, and when we've got some mastery there. If you're interested in what curriculum I'm using, I will have a link in the description below. So here is music. One is playing guitar, one's ukulele, and so I've got an area to put any accomplishments, like if they played at the beach or they played at their dad's birthday, I can put that here and track their practice and lessons on, it looks like the frets of the instruments there. And then this is English from the roots up, Greek and Latin root words, and just put that in there. It's about 200 words. And we're really going to try to get through all those words this year. And geography. Now, this is a table of contents I actually copied and printed out from their little workbook on geography. They think it's a fun puzzle book, and it's great because they're actually getting work done. So I'm just going to check off the lessons as they get them done. So math here. I will have a link in the description about from masterbooks.com that we're using their math curriculum, and so far so good. We are really liking that here, and the book is fantastic that it actually has the lesson plans already ready with the days you can mark off and when things are supposed to be done. So all of those pages there, I just I printed it out and cut them up and put them right into the books. Here we've got physical education, so filling out kind of what they're doing. They do a lot, so sometimes it's multiple things a day, so I just kind of pick what they actually did the most of and go with that, so which usually ends up to be trampoline. But then art lessons, we haven't gotten serious about that, so I'm going to fill that out this year. They both requested more art instruction. Science. So on to science. Here is where I'm going to be writing more goals. I'm still working on getting some of the areas out for goals. We are studying anatomy as well as our natural history curriculum here. And here is the Exploring Nature with Children. I'll have a link in the description of where you can find this amazing thing that works with all grades and ages and just keeps you kind of connected with nature, but I'll have that all written up. What week is what study. And this is just a basic of how to make a nature journal page that just kind of my girls can come and look at what they need to include on an actual nature journal page, information that I like. And even if they got half of this information on a drawing of something they observed in nature, I would be totally happy. We are studying ancient history this year, so I thought it was a great year to study human anatomy. We haven't hit that very hard in the past, so it is time. And so I've got my Greek lady here. This is science that actually happens. This is science that ends up at my door. So we just saw a raccoon in the trees, which was really rare. And we studied raccoons that day. No plans on studying raccoons, but there he is. So last year in my science circle, the dog had brought us a gopher, and a dead gopher, and it was all fresh. So we actually decided to go ahead and make a study of it and dissect it, and it was a very fascinating study. And so that's where that kind of science ends up, right here. The science books I'm using, and then staying on track with anatomy by month. I got the month along here. Then on to history. So history goals. I am still working on writing up the history goals of what I want them to learn, but I really have to wrap my head around what I want them to walk away with for ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome. So this wheel right here is just where I kind of dropped some ideas last semester, before summer began, of just kind of how I wanted to get history out. It was just a good place to drop my ideas. It's not what I'm following exactly, but I really liked that I did that to help me kind of figure out where I was going. A place to drop history ideas. Maybe I have an idea for a project or something, a field trip. We always take a break for Thanksgiving off of all of our history to really study the time of the Pilgrims and really love connecting with the season, hugging that season, and baking and spending lots of time in home ec and listening to audiobooks and all those wonderful crafts. So here's kind of an area to record what we're doing the week of, as well as projects in the month, and a list of books. And then our ancient history spread, figuring out where the chapters are. I am using Streams of Civilization for this year, as well as adding in as much literature and fun books as possible, and some good movies. So figuring out where all that ends up, and scheduling in the breaks. So after history here, I've got my timeline, just a real basic timeline to kind of understand while I'm looking at this at a glance. I have way more in-depth timelines, but this kind of helps just to have it right here. All right, and then the rest here is just days, weekdays at a glance. All right, sick days. You know how it works for homeschoolers. We don't really get sick days off. It's a wonderful time to read and watch that documentary, right? But anyway, here's my sick days. I like to record kind of who was sick, how long they were sick, what treatments worked, you know, if you had to go to the doctor or not, all those things. And I told everybody in the family, look, you only have half a page each. Only have half a page each to be sick, so you can't be sick any more than half a page. They all laughed. But anyway, tracking some of the supplements that we're taking. Here's an area for my projects. And here's an area that are my needs and wants and dreams and my ideas. I like it, they're bubbling up. Look, right now I have 0 ideas because all of my time and energy has gone into this. I like to record everybody's birthdays and what we did for the birthday, because sometimes you don't remember what did I do for my such and such birthday. And this is for my mom's school area where I'm investing in my own education and skills. And I really like this concept. So these are my accomplishments and books that I'm interested in, not necessarily finishing. I'm not a good finisher. Maybe you are. Comment below if you're a really good finisher of books, and what is your trick? And then things that I'm learning here. Obviously planning out the year and where the breaks are. The attendance trackers right here, and the girls, I actually let them go ahead and cross them off themselves, and that makes them feel very accomplished. Again, trying to figure out all the weeks and how the weeks work in the months. Time is an elusive concept to me, so I have to do it multiple ways. And the moon phases, because I'm super duper into the moon. Gotta know your moon phases, right? And then on here to just regular calendar. I like to keep a summary of what happened that month. I write it in parts and sections, and then sometimes just at the end of the month I write it too, and space, so that goes on and on and on. And that is pretty much the journal there without getting into some personal stuff at the end. And that is the year of 2018-2019. Wait, what? What year is this? I am lost in time, people. This is 2019, 2020. 2020? All right, so if this is a little daunting to you, I have a little solution. As you can see, I did end up printing out certain pages, and I think that's a wonderful thing to do, is to print out tables of content, but my printer hates me and threatens to go on vacation every time I try to ask it to print. So we did find a solution. A friend of mine recommended an amazing printer, and wow, it only prints black and white, but it is worth every penny. And I'm going to show you the box here. And thanking Jenna Weiss and thanking my friend Jenna for telling me about this amazing printer. Here's the box. Okay, I think there's still something in it though. Can you see it? Is it focusing? What's in here? The printer's... There's seriously all kinds of toys. I think the baby has been playing in the box. But it's a Brother black and white laser printer. Gotta have one of these. It makes life so much easier to be able to print their curriculums and multiple copies so that they can both be working on it. Great homeschool buy there. Okay, so the printer, seriously, it can print on a certain type of ink cartridge. It can print 3,000 black and white copies, which is amazing, which I will totally go through, I'm sure. And you can get ink cartridges at a third of the cost that are aftermarket, so they're off-brand, but they totally work with it. You'll love it. So resources I mentioned here are in the description below. The first one is the Exploring Nature with Children. I will have a link to that. I've mentioned it before in my last video about nature journaling. It is absolutely a must, but it is a 200-page book, so you will have to have it printed and bound or print it on a printer like I just showed you. The other books are by Master Books. Our math is by Master Books, and I'll have a link to that. And our language arts, we're using Shirley Grammar this year, and There will be a link to Veritas Press where you can find that kit. I'll have a specific link that I'm using this year so we can get all caught up on our grammar, because we ain't got no good grammar. And then a link to the printer will be there too, and the ink cartridges. And if you follow the links directly, it will help me earn points with masterbooks.com and Veritas Press, as well as Amazon. So if you like my channel, just follow those links. And please be sure to subscribe and like it and hit the bell so you get notified when we make more videos, because a lot more videos are coming. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook.